You need to help out with the kitchen.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Your job is the kitchen.
Really?
What do you want me to do?
Well, I need to talk to you about that
You want
one.
me to... Talk to me.
Sorry.
Tell me why it's crap.
Kitchen.
No.
Like, you should help her. Okay.
I think you should stop while you're
No.
Sometimes I'm talking to Audrey, like, and I get, 15 minutes into a conversation, little did I know with myself. It's.
Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is February 3rd and I have some tea for you. Okay, it's good. You guys seem to really like these videos about the Fundy families that end up having kind of rifts in between them, and I've been noticing a lot of drama on the Roloffs, between the Roloffs and the sister-in-laws and the boys that are married. I mean, all their boys are married, but there are three sister-in-laws, Audrey, Tori, and Isabel. So everyone knows Tori because she's on the show Little People, Big World, obviously, and their two children, Jackson and Lila, and she's married to Zach. And then you've got Isabel, who is married to Jacob, and they are not on the show. And then you have Audrey and Mr. Jeremy, who you just saw in those clips in the beginning, who are running a business and basically teaching everyone how to be married. Now, they have a podcast, and then they also have a Beating the 50%, which is an Instagram page. They both also have their own Instagram pages, and they're often literally telling everyone how to be married, the keys to being married, and promoting these products like a journal with questions, because you know that's going to save your marriage. Essentially what they do is they're the run-of-the-mill Christian vlogger that wants to podcast and book and sell it to you all. And they, at what I think 5 years, 6 years of marriage, have decided that they have the keys to marriage. And they have actually been doing this since the very early stages of their marriage. And a lot of people think that the way that they act is fake, because how can anyone be so passionate about marriage when it's like your brand? Obviously, Jeremy has quite the reputation. While he was on the show, he was kind of a chauvinist, if you ask me. And that clip in the beginning was him basically telling his mom that she belonged in the kitchen. And then that other clip was grabbing when they were talking about communication, and he had to take a jab at Audrey about not listening to him in front of everyone. So on brand. But one thing they won't do when they're on brand is talk about anything that matters in the world. And when people got really upset with Audrey for literally never using her platform to talk about anything besides marriage, she got really sassy with her followers.
So I want to share something that's probably not super popular, but I feel like anytime there is a event going on in the world where there's a lot of noise on social media, there is this massive pressure put on, quote, influencers, which I hate that word, but you know what I mean, to speak out about it. And while I think that there are so many important issues that we as influencers can speak out on and move the needle on and be massive conduits for change on, just because someone isn't sharing about something doesn't mean that they're not for it or that they're not against it. I just think in our world right now, we need to be slower to speak.
Audrey's little thing, that went on for 8 minutes. And she just kept repeating herself over and over and over again about how she doesn't have to use her platform to talk about really anything, and that her platform is to talk about marriage. And you wouldn't expect someone that's like a chef to talk about political things or anything that's going on in the world. And this was in response to Isabel, Jacob's wife, who had called her out because she was not responding to literally anything that was happening in the world. This was shortly after everything that happened at the Capitol, but this had been sort of this repeated pattern with her where when something really large happens in the United States or in the world, for instance, whether it's the pandemic or whether it was showing support for Black Lives Matter over the summer and continued moving forward, whether it's just really being an advocate for people. And her argument was like, I don't have to say anything because I'm an influencer, which I understand that to a point. You don't have to say anything. Isabel just was of the belief that if you're going to use your platform and you're going to tell people how to live your life, why don't you actually respond to things that are happening in the world? And you know, I think it's hard because she probably just doesn't want to lose followers and doesn't want to alienate people. But obviously, when Isabel said that, then Audrey puts that video up, and then Isabel took a little bit of a break from her Instagram, and she actually came back onto her Instagram and shared a few stories that are directly, I believe, shade towards Audrey. And in the story, she says, if you aren't delighted or excited when consuming someone's content on here, unfollow them. Stop hate following. That's unnecessary negative energy toward yourself and them. Just don't do it. Follow people who inspire, encourage, and uplift you. And then in her next story, she said, of course, I do this too, or at least I've done it. We all have people we feel obligated to follow, but that shouldn't be how it is. Obligated to follow. I'm guessing obligated to follow Audrey because it's her sister-in-law, right? Since we consume so much content here every day, why consume things we don't actually care to see? People shouldn't make you feel bad about yourself when you open the app. You shouldn't be following people who secretly hope you want their life. So you believe whatever they say, think you need to buy everything they promote, and wish you had their life instead of appreciating your own. Someone who encourages you should turn you back towards yourself to inspire your own life and dreams, not wish for some unattainable one. And then she said, anyone who wants to influence you to believe you aren't good enough somehow, or your life isn't cool enough, or you aren't doing enough, let them go. Do not follow them or check up on them or associate with them anymore. Set this boundary for yourself. I think this is directly related to Audrey and Jeremy, because both of them spend all of their time really describing this sort of unattainable aspect of marriage. There's this movement within the Christian fundamentalists and sort of this Christian extremists that believe that your marriage needs to come first before everything. And hey, that's true. But these bloggers make it as though your whole life is supposed to focus on your marriage. And if you're not focusing solely on your marriage and talking about your marriage all the time and dedicating all your time and energy to your marriage, you then are somehow not as good as them, or you're not Christ-like enough, or you're not working. And if your marriage fails, it's because you're not working hard enough. You're not being more intentional. They love to say that. You need to be intentional with your marriage. And I don't think it's wrong to talk about your marriage, but I do think they put life in a very unrealistic boundary. And most people will never get there. And I have a very hard time believing that Jeremy and Audrey really spend all of this time actually talking or working on their marriage if they're constantly putting out content about marriage. How do you actually spend time on your marriage when you're working on helping other people with their marriage? You know, they always say that when you are working on something and trying to fix other people, you're trying to fix something within yourself or avoiding fixing something within yourself. Sometimes I wonder if this is a deflective move by them. Like, we can help everyone else and then we don't have to deal with ourselves. I have a lot of fans have the same belief as I do in that they don't necessarily find them authentic. So this was her response to Audrey, and this actually happened shortly after Audrey posted a video on her Instagram where she said that her biggest pet peeve was people that start their Instagram videos by saying, "Hey friends," or "Hi friends," which seemed odd to everyone. Like, why would she be saying that? But then when you went to Tori Roloff's Instagram, you saw a video of her promoting a product, and it was this.
Hey friends, I am here to share the perfect Valentine's Day gift for your special someone. Hey friends, I am here to share the perfect Valentine's Day gift for your special someone.
Audrey had posted the story on her Instagram, and it was quickly deleted. She took it down. I don't know if she realized what she did or if she just was like, I don't want this up here anymore, but it was gone as fast as it was up. But it's not a coincidence that both Tori and Isabel say hi friend or hi friends on their Instagram. But it's ironic because Miss Thang, Audrey, on her old Twitter, I was looking through a bunch of her posts, and she, even on her blog, has used hi friends or hi friend multiple times when greeting her audience and talking to them either on Twitter, Instagram, blogging. So it seems like a direct dig at Tori and Isabel. And there's a lot going on here because we heard them, Jeremy and Audrey, lament about how their dream was killed, or their death of a dream, because they didn't get the Roloff farm. Now, I did the video about the farm, and a lot of you guys were a little bit torn on this. Like, some of you said it was really inappropriate or it was really crappy of Zach to take Jeremy's dream because he had been so vocal about it. And then others of you were like, Jeremy and Audrey felt a sense of entitlement to that property when in reality it was never really theirs to have because it belonged to their parents, and there are 4 siblings. So just because they claimed dibs on it doesn't mean they get it. And by, not getting it and then having this sort of temper tantrum by not talking to anyone in the family, they spent Christmas with Amy, and Zach and Tori spent Christmas with Matt. So it's kind of obvious here what's going on. And there again, she has an opportunity to just be like uplifting and positive, and she just uses it as an opportunity to get petty. And I think the shade goes back and forth, but I think right now Audrey is hurt, and she's inflicting that onto other people under the guise of, they took our dream, so I'm going to lash out at them, and how dare Isabel tell me that I have to do what I have to do. And to a point, no, you don't have to do what Isabel says, but you don't also have to respond, Audrey. And, if maybe Isabel is, seeing the hypocrisy of them constantly telling everyone how to live their lives when she feels like there's stuff going on that no one knows about, or else she feels like they are not being truthful and it's an indirect sort of unattainable lifestyle. And then Tori, who's literally just mostly doing her life, also just generally doesn't interact very much with Audrey on her Instagram. And then there's this whole issue right now where Audrey's followers have been surpassed by Tori. But Tori had a smaller following than Audrey for quite some time. Obviously, she came into the lives of the Roloffs a little bit later, and she obviously just hasn't, always been super engaged on social media. She's just been getting more into it over the last few years. And so she bumped up over Audrey. So Audrey has 1.4 million followers and Tori has 1.5 million. Tori has TLC and she's on a show, so I wouldn't be surprised that it keeps going up, up, up. And I think fans just like Tori better because Tori's not constantly telling people how to have their marriage, how to live their marriage, how to do their marriage, how to live their life, and how much better her marriage is than anyone else. In fact, Tori's Instagram, if you compare the two, is a lot more relatable because she literally just shares pictures of her kids being kids and having silly kid moments, painting with her kids or making projects with them and spending time with Zach. It's not like, we're the best family, be like us, you know what I mean? So I don't know what you guys think about this. Is Audrey being petty, or do you think Tori will respond to this? I kind of like that Isabel responded. So as soon as Audrey says her pet peeve is hey friends, and you see that Tori had posted that Isabel's response was basically like, I don't have to follow you anymore. Now I did check their Instagrams and they are still following each other, but I do think that this rift is pretty wide and it might get wider. So I would love to know what your thoughts are on all of this. Is Audrey's self-righteousness and arrogance causing the entire family to sort of push them away Is Jeremy's self-righteousness and arrogance causing the family to push them away? And do you think that at some point they will just be on an island by themselves and everyone else will be hanging out together? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.